morning. It is the 5th of December. It is 11:15 in the morning, so it's a bit later. I have worked out this morning, so I'm still just fresh out of the shower. And I thought before I go back downstairs and get something to eat, I would open my advent calendar. But before that, welcome to the channel, welcome to Vlogmas. My name is Anniken, and I live in the southwest of England, where it is sunny but very windy at the moment. So we'll see what we'll do today. I do have some socks to show you today. I've finished 3 pairs of socks in the last few days, so I will show you those today as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much. I really appreciate your support. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. If you are a new viewer, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And please leave a comment and give the video a thumbs up if you like it. So let's take a look and see what's in my advent calendar for today. So as you can see, this is today's advent calendar, another green. So that's the 3rd green we've had in 5 days. Really like this green. It's got like a sort of hint of grey, I think, in it. Semi-solid green, really like that. As you can see, I haven't made any more progress on my advent shawl. I didn't touch it at all yesterday, so that was yesterday's colourway. That was the 2nd, I think, which I put on hold. Like these 3 together. So I don't know, I need to try and at least wind this one today. I think I will add, I don't know, which one will I add? I think maybe add that one next, and then that one. They look nice together. We'll have to see. So I will try and at least wind one of those today and make some progress on that. So yesterday, when I left you yesterday, I showed you the start of my new sparkly sock. I didn't do anything more on that last night. I did cast them for my hat, so I decided to do a hat for going to Norway in the Spectrum Fibre Twister sock in the Stella, hang on, this here, Stella colourway, just that one, and the mohair, which is mohair silk in the Love Struck colourway. So I'm knitting those together. I knitted quite a small swatch. Now normally I recommend knitting a bigger swatch because you get a more accurate tension reading. Measured my head, worked out how many stitches I would need, took off a few stitches, but I did have kind of this nagging feeling in the back of my head that I probably hadn't taken off too many stitches, because you want a little bit of negative ease for the hat. So you want the fabric of the hat to just be a tiny bit smaller than your head, so it stretches a bit. If it's too loose, then it will just be too fluffy. So, and of course I know that, but I was worried I hadn't taken off enough. But I thought, well, I'll knit a few rounds and then decide. So I think I did about 30 rounds. It's about that much. When you start, it always looks wider than it really is anyway. You need to get a little bit into it before you can really tell. So anyway, I knitted quite a lot, a couple hours last night, I guess. And then I kept thinking, no, this looks too big. But it wasn't, I couldn't try it on because there wasn't enough to try on yet. So I did about 30 rounds. I don't know how much that is. And then I actually just pulled in, I did some maths again. And then I pulled the needles out, and yes, it was a little bit on the big side. So I ripped it out. I was a bit worried about ripping it out because it is mohair, but actually it ripped out quite easily. Hang on, it's just got a bit tangled. Trying to untangle it. So cast on again, and I just did 1 round. And then this is what I did this morning while I was having breakfast. I'm watching a bit of the news. So I'm doing a brioche. 1 colour brioche pattern. I'm holding the 2 strands together so it looks the same on both sides, and I'm doing it in the round. So it looks the same on both sides, so that I think I've decided yet, I might make it long enough so I can actually fold the flap up so it covers I get like 2 layers over my ears. I'll see when I get enough to actually cover my ears. I might actually put it on the go outside if it's windy and see what it feels like and whether the wind's just going straight through it, because that's kind of what makes my ears cold. But this is like a warm hat, probably mainly to wear when we go to Norway at Christmas, but we get some cold days here as well, especially when it's windy. So didn't make too much progress. So yeah, I didn't really do a lot of knitting yesterday. Well, I don't feel like I got much to show for it because I ripped out most of what I knitted, so I don't really feel like I got a lot to show for what I did yesterday, but never mind. Not sure what we're doing yet today. We need to walk the dog at some point. Simon needs to get some winter boots. We're going to Norway, so we were talking about going shopping. So I'm going to go downstairs and get some to eat, and then we'll decide what we do today. But in the meantime, I'll leave you to take a look at the socks that I've finished this week. All 3 pairs from my Aventura sock pattern, which I'll link below as well. The first pair of new socks that I have knitted, I finished this a few days ago. These were knitted fairly quickly. They're knitted in DK yarn. It is All About Yarn, a Welsh dyer, and it's Happy LDK, 100% superwash Blueface Leicester, 225 meters per 100 gram, and this was the Knit Tea Retreat in Cardiff 2018 special colorway. I was teaching at that retreat. And I wasn't sure what to do with this because I don't use DK yarn a lot, so I decided to knit socks. The hall where I do Pilates is really cold, and last week I got cramp in my feet at least 3 times. Cramp is caused by my feet getting too cold, so I did the foot in stocking stitch, and then I actually did the whole of the leg in rib. Kind of wish I'd done the foot in rib as well, but I didn't. I wasn't sure exactly how much yarn I would have. So on the first sock, I put in the waist yarn for the afterthought heel, and then I knitted a few rounds on the leg, and then I actually pulled the yarn from the center of the ball and knitted the heel so that I would know how much yarn I would need. And then I knitted till I had about 50 grams left. Unfortunately, I didn't weigh the skein before I started, and quite often skeins are slightly more than 100 grams. So when I knitted the second sock, I ran out of yarn about 5 rounds before the first one, so I ended up having to undo a few rounds on one sock and then adding a few more rounds to the other sock and things like that. So eventually I managed to finish them, and I'm very pleased with them. They feel lovely and warm, and I'll be testing them out in Pilates next week. The colorway is gorgeous, perfect color for me, and I think it matches my Pilates leggings quite well. They're in the wash at the moment, so I can't get them out, but it's similar colors to my Pilates leggings, so I'm quite excited about these, and they are lovely, and I only use 1 skein of these. So the second pair of socks is in Yarn Unique, 4-ply zebra sock, 100% superwash, no, what's it say? 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 365 meters per 100 grams. And I knitted these from the toe up using my Aventuras pattern with a wedge toe. I did a garter stitch pattern in the middle of the foot, which carries on all the way up the leg. And then at the back of the leg, I put a waist yarn in for afterthought heel here, and then knitted the heel on afterwards, and the heel has a swirly heel. And then I also knitted the garter stitch pattern on the back of the foot, and also I added one at the side as well, and that's on both the inside and the outside. And then I did 30 rounds of rib at the top. So I think the leg was 60 rounds and then 30 rounds of ribs, so 90 rounds in total. Really like these socks. Colorway is amazing. I think the yarn is kind of like white and black, and I guess the black doesn't take, well, the black doesn't take dye when it's dyed. I saw it the skein a few months ago and I thought it looked interesting, but I wasn't sure how he was going to knit up, so I decided to buy it and see, and I really like them. They're fun socks. Really pleased with them. So this is my Aventuras pattern, worked from the toe up. The Aventuras patterns gives you a choice from toe up or cuff down, with a choice of 2 toes and 2 afterthought heels, and I'll put the link below. My final pair of socks are my cinema socks. So I've knitted most of these while I was at the cinema. I think I knitted them during 3 different films. They are knitted from the toe up with a swirly heel. I don't know how easy it is to see that, it's a bit dark. With an afterthought swirly, so swirly toe, not heel, swirly toe. I think it's that easy to see it. With an afterthought swirly heel, quite a long leg, and a rib at the top. So it's just plain stocking stitch and then quite a long rib at the top. And then the yarn is West Yorkshire Spinners Sandra Rhodes Signature 4-ply. So it's one of the exclusive Sandra Rhodes colorways, and it is called Bluebell Mist. I bought it at Wool on the X. My brain's gone completely blank today. I bought a Wool on the X in Exeter, I don't know, probably nearly 2 months ago, and I was going to have these as kind of my plain pair of socks that I knitted while I was watching Strictly Come Dancing every Saturday night. But they ended up being my cinema socks instead. So I love this colorway, and I love the fact that they're fairly long. But I've decided I'm probably going to give them away as a Christmas present. The leg is probably just like a centimetre too long for me. I mean, they'd be fine, I can wear them, but there's somebody else who's got almost the same foot length as me, so I might give these away as a Christmas present, but I haven't quite decided yet. So, but I really like these, and they were, I think 90% of them were knitted during 3 different cinema trips.